myself, Dr. Indrani Raut, working as Assistant Professor, Rajanapapa College of Pharmacy, Kasaragod. I am presenting here my work that is in vitro and in vivo evaluation of actively targetable solid lipid nanoparticle of paclitaxel and cisplatin for ovarian cancer. So we know that cancer is one of the large number of diseases characterized by the development of abnormal cells, and these are divided uncontrollably and have ability to infiltrate and destroy the normal body tissue. So nowadays, most of the women is suffering from the ovarian cancers. So to treat, so my aim is to treat such ovarian cancer. So for that, I have prepared the nanoparticles. So what are such a solid lipid nanoparticle? These are having the small size, and therefore these are easily potential to control the release rate of the drug. Also, these are improve the drug pharmacokinetics, biodistribution is also occur, and it should be reduces the drug toxicity. So therefore, objective of my work is, in this present work, I have prepared such a solid lipid nanoparticle of paclitaxel and the cisplatin. These are given separately for intravenous simultaneously delivery to obtain the optimal therapeutic efficacy against the ovarian cancer. Further improvement of tissue distribution of cisplatin and paclitaxel with the help of verapamil was also attempted in this current work. So in the material and method, I have used the paclitaxel, cisplatin, other different surfactant, co-surfactants, and using the microimmersion method, I have applied, and using the probe sonicator as well as the high pressure homogenizer is used for the preparation of such a microemulsion. So this is the formulation table. I have applied the 3:2 full factorial design for the paclitaxel solid lipid nanoparticle. So here independent variables are the stearic acid and the soalacetin, and dependent variables are the entrapment efficiency and the particle size. So whatever this effect of such a stearic acid and the soalacetin is occur on that entrapment efficiency and particle size. So this is the response surface plot and the polynomial equation, both the showing the same the effect of this independent variable on the dependent variable. So whatever batch is optimized, that is a P6, same batch formula I have choose for this preparation of the cisplatin solid lipid nanoparticle. I have prepared these batches, but same formula showing instabilities in emulsion. Therefore, I have added here DPPG and the buffer, and therefore finally I have prepared this cisplatin solid lipid nanoparticle also. And these are some graph I have put here, that is the zeta potential and the particle size. So I have characterized all this study, that is the zeta potential, particle size, and that. And nextly, I have performed the in vivo anti-cancer study also. So in that in vivo anti-cancer study, I have applied the acute toxicity study also I have performed. After that, I have choose the bread bulb mice. In that ID8 cell 1:105, this is the murine epithelial ovarian cancer cells I have injected on the back of the mice, and these are the form the tumor. I have prepared the 5 different groups, and then that whatever tumor were mined and regrafted in experimental animal, then dose is given, and after that the tumor volume were measured. So in this graph here you have to show, here we have to conclude that all the groups treated with the test sample suppress the tumor growth as compared to the untreated group. So availability of the drug at the tumor site as well as the therapeutic efficacy of the formulation. So whatever combination of SLN of the cisplatin and as well as the paclitaxel along with the verapamil inhibited the most when compared with the all other groups. And in the second, here we have to see the influence of the verapamil on the tumor distribution. So it's also 2 hours after administration, the last dose animal sacrificed and tumor were excised, and by using the HPLC analyze the data. So finally, we conclude that through this HPLC area under curve value, verapamil enhances the accumulation of the drug at the tumor site. The conclusion of the present work is the SLN is a most promising drug delivery system for the anti-cancer drug. These are prepared the nanoparticle, characterized them, and the whatever tissue distribution of the paclitaxel and cisplatin was significantly increased by co-administration of the verapamil. In vivo assessment of the therapeutic efficacy of the formulated SLN was successful. They inhibited the tumor growth of the considerably high extent. Localization of the drug in the tumor by use of the PGP inhibitor like verapamil can further reduce the systemic toxicity. So these are the references, and I acknowledge my management of RCP Kasaragod for providing the facility to carry out my work.
Hi everyone, my name is A. Ramadevi. Hope everyone is doing good. I'm here to discuss about formulation and evolution of floating microspheres of cefodoxime peroxidase using a simple lactic design. Floating drug delivery system is a novel drug delivery system. Cefodoxime peroxidase is a third generation of cephalosporin drug, and microspheres are in these microspheres are prepared using a solvent evaporation method by HPMC using HPMC and ethyl cellulose polymers, and simple lactic design was applied for the optimization of the formula. Floating microspheres are evaluated for percentage yield, micromeretic properties, and FTR, practical size and in vitro buoyancy, and drug entrapment, ACM, and in vitro release and in vivo studies are done. Polymer coat microspheres was slow release over 12 hours, and there is no chemical interaction took place during the process. In vitro performance of cephaloxime proxital floating microsphere showed controlled release depends on the polymer concentration. Formulation CPM to prepared exhibited good micrometric properties. Percentage in vitro buoyancy entrapment efficiency is 65% and percentage of drug release 73% for a period of 7 hours. Followed zero order kinetics. Higuchi equation explains diffusion controlled release mechanism, and diffusion exponent in value of Crossmeyer-Pepper's model were found, and anomalous polymer coated microsphere cephaloxime proxital exhibited a good prolonged release. Characterization we found suitable for a once a day oral controlled release product. And also I am giving the all details about formation and evaluation values in the given below tables. Also I am explained and given the values of materials and values and materials and methods of in detail the shows in the given tables below tables.
Everyone, myself Rajat. Now I am present formulation and evolution of nicotine soft chew. As you know, tobacco and cigarette smoking is the leading avoidable cause of death in the world. It kills almost 4 million people each year. The chewing of tobacco and cigarette are the major cause of oral cancer. An alternative method to tobacco product may help the addicted people to avoid such life-threatening products. Soft chew formulation may be one of the best alternative to deliver nicotine. Actually, nicotine is the main active compound in cigarette. Nicotine replacement therapy is used to help avoid smoking or stop chewing tobacco. Nicotine replacement therapy is a medically approved to take nicotine. Nicotine replacement therapy was the first pharmacological treatment developed for the smoking cessation that was approved by FDA in 1984. There are the various types of dosage forms are available in the market, is such as nicotine chewing gum, nicotine transdermal patches, nicotine oral strip, nicotine nasal spray, and inhalators. The aim and objective of study to design and formulate a chocolate formulation as a drug delivery system of nicotine replacement therapy and this delivery system for nicotine replacement to improve nicotine absorption, patient compliance, and a quick action. The need of this study to develop a safe and efficient medicated chocolate dosage form, which will be better compared to the existing other medicines, and the formulation helps to create different taste and consistency sensation. The chocolate containing the drug in the suitable quantity is known as a medicated chocolate. And now we go to materials and methods. The medicated chocolate was prepared by 3 subsequent methods. First is the preparation of syrup with the help of water and sugar, then the preparation of emulsion with the help of water, and then lecithin, cocoa powder, nicotine polyacrylamide as the API, then add glycerol monohydrate and chocolate flavor. And third is the mixing and cooling. After that, after preparation of the emulsion, we can transfer in the molds and kept in a cool. After preparation of the nicotine soft chew, we go to evolution. First is general appearance. The color of the soft chew is a brown, appearance is slightly glossy with a few streaks, and taste is a pleasant taste. After that, we check the weight variation, and we check the 10. We take a 10 soft chew and check their weights, and the weight is found at 9.55, 9.67, 9.7 gram. After that, we check the thickness and hardness, and the thickness is found at the 13.02 mm, and hardness is found as 2.9, 2.4 as present. After that, we check the fat contents, and the fat content is found to 7.5%, sulfuric ash found 0.56%, moisture content 0.7.9%, reducing sugar is a 19.1%. Then we determine the lambda max by UV spectra for the calculate percent SA by HPLC. Then we take 5 different samples, and the result was found 2.53 as a drug content of drug. And then we check the in vitro drug release study in different time interval, and found percent release in 5 minutes is a 48%. After that, in 5 minutes, in 10 minutes 85%, in 15 minutes 90%, 20 minutes 94%, and After in final, in 98% nicotine was released in 30 minutes during in vitro study in phosphor PS 6.8. The content of drug was found is a 102.53. Further, we again choose panels and the result was found they are the pleasant taste and acceptability. The conclusion of this study that the nicotine chocolate has a pleasant taste and there may be used as an alternative to tobacco products. Thank you.
Good morning all. Thanks for organizing such a beautiful competition. My topic is design and development of extended release formulation of highly water soluble drug using quality by design approach for the better patient compliance. I am from SK Patel College of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Kanpur University, Kherwa. Aim of the present study is to design and characterization of the sustained release matrix tablets of pregabalin in order to achieve a prolonged therapeutic effect for continuous drug release over an extended period of time after single dose administration. And my objectives are to reduce the dosing frequency, to reduce the fluctuation in steady state levels, and thereby reduction in the side effects occurs by the multiple dosing. Generally, in order to retain the dosage form in the stomach, we should keep the size of the dosage form a bit larger. The perfect size is not yet determined, but it should be at least greater than 13 mm. However, even bigger size dosage forms have also been swept out. So it should be like at the time of administration the dosage form should be small, but upon entering the stomach it should grow larger, it should expand its size. Methodology. API was mixed with required quantity of Perlitol and magnesium stearate. Coridone SR and Poliox were mixed to the above mixture, and it was lubricated using glyceryl bayonet. Lubricated blend was compressed on a rotary compression machine using single punch. Tablet shape is 22.1 into 10.8 mm almond shape, and thickness was about 6.4 plus or minus 0.2 mm. Formulations of the preliminary trials were mentioned in PG1 to PG9 in table 1. Initially, I have started my development using Coridone SR, but it was not able to retain the size as well as retain the drug release. So, going ahead, I have increased the amount of Coridone SR, introduced HPMC K100 LVCR, then one trial for Utachit L100. Then I have tried different grades of Poliox, but among them, I have got satisfactory result with retaining dosage form and controlling drug release in Poliox WSR 303, and the final composition, my final composition is PG9. The final composition is optimized using 3:2 factorial designs, and the DOE runs are mentioned in table 2. Initial batches were not satisfactory, hence the optimized ratio is finalized for PG9 batch. It was giving a satisfactory drug release up to 24 hours and retained its structure, so that I can say that my dosage form will be retained in the stomach. These on the right side below the optimization table there is half normal plot which dictates a normal distribution of all the dissolution data obtained from the design of experiment trials, and the on the right side of it it is a graphical design space in 3D. Model was found significant, and F value was found such a way that my model was able to navigate the design space. On the stability was also performed, and it was found the stable. On concluding remarks, this study discusses the preparation of gastroretentive dosage form of pregabalin. Addition of Poliox to Coridone SR has completed my purpose to achieve the complete and continuous drug release in the stomach. A systematic approach for a design of experiment using 3:2 factorial design revealed that the amount of Poliox and Coridone SR has significant impact on my drug release. Thus, by selecting a particular optimum drug release controller, and drug release retardant, you can achieve the desired drug resolution profile, which can result in reduction of frequency of doses and related side effects, leading to a better patient compliance. Thank you one and all.
Good morning everyone, myself Dheeraj Kumar. I am studying in Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, MRSPTU, Bhatinda, India. Today I am here to present my e-poster on preparation, optimization and characterization of paracetamol and ofloxacin oral disintegrating mini tablets, that is ODMT, for pediatrics. Firstly, I start with the introduction. Children differ from adults in various aspects of pharmacotherapy, including various ways for drug administration. It is very essential that pediatric medicines should best suit the child's age, size and psychological condition of pediatrics. The target of present investigation to create ODMT of paracetamol and ofloxacin utilizing quality by design approach, quality target product profile, that is QTPP, and critical quality attributes, that is CQA, for paracetamol and ofloxacin ODMT were recognized. The objective of the study is to develop the novel dosage form for the pediatric patient, that is mini tablets. The material and method. The material is used for the preparation of mini tablets is ofloxacin, Pharmabust, paracetamol, sodium starch glycolate, magnesium stearate, mannitol, lactose and talc. The method which is used for the preparation of mini tablets is direct compression method. Next we will discuss about the result and discussion. Firstly, we have the UV spectrum of ofloxacin and paracetamol. The wavelength of paracetamol is 243 nanometer and the ofloxacin is 244.3 nanometer, and the standard plot of PCM and ofloxacin is developed. The optimization part of the study is the systematic optimization of development of ODMT using response surface methodology, and the CCD was utilized, that is central composite design, between the critical formulation variables and measured response for optimization. In this study, 3 independent variables, that is amount of Pharmabust SSF, magnesium stearate and sodium starch glycolate, is selected, and the 2 dependent variables, that is disintegration time and hardness, is used, that is shown in the figure 5. The polynomial coefficient analysis was carried out for analyzing the second order quadratic model by multiple linear regression analysis, that is MLRA method, each for the CQA, that is hardness and DT, shown in the figure 6. The response surface 3D graph and 2D counter plot were constructed using the design expert software. This shows the interaction of independent and dependent variables, which is shown in the figure 7 and 8. IPQC and FPQC results were also found to be satisfactory for the ODMT. The 2 factors which is used, that is hardness and DT. The hardness of the mini tablet is 4.5 to 5.5 kg per centimeter square, and the DT, that is disintegration time, that is 39 to 41 seconds, and the content uniformity of the mini tablets is 97.88 and 98.86%. In the last we will discuss about the conclusion. During the development of oral disintegration tablets, concept of QBD and FBD were also employed. CCD were applied for the optimization. The selected significant factors, 2D counter plots and 3D response surface plots, etc. These are some references. Thank you.
Hello judges, I am Dr. Mangesh Dinanath Godbole, Head of the Department Pharmaceutics, Kamla Nehru College of Pharmacy, Butibori, Nagpur, India. The title of the presented work is Controlling Release of Pioglitazone Hydrochloride from Floating Osmotic Pump Tablet. Introduction. Literature survey revealed that pioglitazone hydrochloride is absorbed at upper part of intestine, which was encourage us to formulate floating osmotic pump tablet of pioglitazone hydrochloride. Objective of the study was to ensure the maximum absorption of pioglitazone hydrochloride by controlling and targeting its release in small intestine. In materials and methods, floating osmotic pump tablets were prepared by following 4 steps. In step 1, osmotic core tablet consisting of drug, dextrose, HPMC K100, lactose, talc and magnesium stearate was prepared by direct compression method. Total 9 formulations were prepared by varying the concentration of HPMC K100 and dextrose at 3 level. In next step, it was coated using cellulose acetate and PEG 400, which was dissolved in acetone to form an inner semi-permeable membrane. In step 3, floating layer was formed by compression coating using HPMC K4M, sodium bicarbonate and talc. In step 4, to release the medicament, an orifice was drilled mechanically through semi-permeable membrane. Results and discussion. Initially, drug-excipient interaction study was carried out by using FTIR and DSC analysis. Result revealed that there was no interaction between drug and excipient. The complex core tablet passed the test for friability, weight variation, and other official tests. Also, it has sufficient hardness to withstand coating process. The in vitro study of formulated floating osmotic pump tablet showed that when the concentration of HPMC K100 was increased, rate of drug release was decreased. However, the release was altered when the concentration of dextrose was increased. Formulation having higher concentration of dextrose showed increased drug release in less duration. It was also observed that when the concentration of sodium bicarbonate was increased, floating lag time was decreased. Formulation F7 containing dextrose 60 mg, HPMC K100 22.5 mg in core tablet, sodium bicarbonate 40 mg and HPMC K4M 166 mg in outer layer flowed within 17 seconds and released 97.75 plus minus 2.45% drug in 12 hours. The total floating time was more than 24 hours. To study the gastric residence time of tablet, the barium sulfate was placed in core tablet and administered orally by 2 volunteers, of which one was in fasting state and another was in feeding state. Digital X-ray photograph was taken at 30 minutes, 2 hour, 4 hour and 8 hour to check the position of tablet. Radiological evidences suggested that tablet does not adhere to the stomach mucus and remains in the stomach, thereby gastric residence time was prolonged, which was more than 8 hours. Conclusion of the study: in the presented work, the floating osmotic pump tablet of pioglitazone hydrochloride was formulated. It was observed that HPMC K100 and dextrose concentration affects the release of drug. From the obtained result, it was concluded that osmotic pump tablet prolong the release of drug into the small intestinal window and there will be improved drug action. Thank you.
Myself Sumit Mehta, studying in Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, MRS PTU, Punjab, India. Today I am here to present my e-poster on topic solubility enhancement strategies for improved bioavailability of art-ether. I am going to start my e-poster with introduction part. So as we all know that art-ether is an anti-malaria drug which belongs to BCS class 2 and having very low aqueous solubility, that is 17 microgram per ml. So to overcome this issue, we choose two approaches, that is solid dispersion and hydrotrophic solubilization, which will increase its dissolution and solubility behavior by dispersing the drug in hydrophilic carrier and hydrotrophic valent. So further we move to the objective part. First objective is to improve the aqueous solubility of the art-ether by solid dispersion and hydrotrophic solubilization. Second one is to explore principle of solid dispersion for increasing solubility. And third one is to explore principle of hydrotrophy for increasing solubility. In material and method part, art-ether was provided by as a gift sample by IPCA lab, and various polymers like HPMC K100, HPMC E15, PEG 6000 were purchased from Lova Chemical Private Limited, Mumbai, and polyvinyl pyridine K30 Polexamer 407 were the gift sample provided by BASF India. So the method of preparation of solid dispersion, we will prepare the physical mixture of drug and hydrophilic carrier and melt it directly on a water bath upon their melting point. Upon complete melt, we will solidify it on ice bath with constant stirring, and then we collect solid mass and sieved it and collect the prepared solid dispersion in the ambered color container. In hydrotrophic technique, the hydrotrophic agent is mixed with the solvent, then the cluster of hydrotrophic agents are oriented, and then the addition of drug in it, and solubilization of drug takes place after that, and the hydrotrophic solid dispersion is collected. So next we come on the result and discussion part. First of all, we have done the various characterization of pure art-ether. UV spectroscopy method has been done and validated according to ICH guideline, that is ICH Q1R2. The calibration curve is prepared from 2 to 20 microgram concentration with 0.99 R-square value. In XRD DSC studies, drug was found to be crystalline in nature with their characteristic peaks, and FTR study gave the confirmation of purity of art-ether. So as we can see the results of prepared solid dispersion. The solid dispersion is prepared by different polymers, individual and combination. So we get the maximum enhancement in aqueous solubility of art-ether with the polymers, that is PEG 6000 and Polexamer 407, that is 37 times. If we compare the everyone. Myself Sumit Mehta, studying in Department of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology, MRS PTU, Punjab, India. Today I am here to present my e-poster on topic solubility enhancement strategies for improved bioavailability of art-ether. I am going to start my e-poster with introduction part. So as we all know that artemether is an anti-malaria drug which belongs to BCS class 2 and having very low aqueous solubility, that is 17 microgram per ml. So to overcome this issue, we choose two approaches, that is solid dispersion and hydrotropic solubilization, which will increase its dissolution and solubility behavior by dispersing the drug into hydrophilic carrier and hydrotropic valent. So further we move to the objective part. First objective is to improve the aqueous solubility of the artemether by solid dispersion and hydrotropic solubilization. Second one is to explore principle of solid dispersion for increasing solubility. And third one is to explore principle of hydrotropy for increasing solubility. Further we move to the material and method part. Artemether was provided as gift sample by IPCA lab. HPMC K100, HPMC E15, PEG 6000 and various polymers were purchased from Loba Chemical. And Polexamer 180 and Polexamer 407 were the gift sample provided by the BASF India. In method of preparation, in solid dispersion we will prepare a physical mixture of drug and hydrophilic carrier and melt it directly on a butter bath up to their melting point. On complete melt we will solidify it on a ice bath with constant stirring, and then we collect the solid mass and sieved it and collect the prepared solid dispersion in amber color container. In hydrotropic technique, the hydrotropic agent is mixed with solvent, then the cluster of hydrotropic agent are oriented, then addition of drug in it, and the solubilization of drug takes place in clusters of hydrotropic agent, and the hydrotropic solid dispersion is collected. So next we move on the result and discussion part. First of all, we have done the various characterization of pure artemether. UV spectroscopy method has been developed and validated according to ICH guideline, that is ICH Q1R2. The calibration curve is prepared from 2 to 20 microgram per ml concentration with 0.99 R-square value. In XRD and DSC study, drug was found to be crystalline in nature with the characteristic peaks. FTI studies give the confirmation of purity of artemether. So as we move to the results of solid dispersion, we can see that the solid dispersion is prepared by different polymers individually and in combination. So we get the maximum enhancement in aqueous solubility of artemether with the polymers PEG 6000 and Polexamer 407, that is 37 times. If we compare the XRD studies of solid dispersion with pure artemether, we see that the peaks are of less intensity and drug found to be amorphous in nature, which dissolve faster. In DSC studies, we can see that the complete disappearance of endothermic peaks, which give indication of formation of amorphous form of drug. In FTI spectra, we can easily interpret that there was no interaction between drug and excipients in the prepared formulation. Similarly, in hydrotropic technique, the maximum enhancement in solubility is attained by 40% nicotinamide hydrotropic agent, that is 49 times. The XRD studies shows the peaks with decreased intensity. The DSC studies show the disappearance of endothermic peaks and give the confirmation of amorphous nature of drug, which dissolve fast due to high internal energy and greater molecular motion. The FTI spectra shows no interaction of drug and polymers. So further we move to the conclusion. So from these results we can conclude that solubility and dissolution behavior of artemether in aqueous media can be increased by solid dispersion and hydrotropic solubilization approach. The maximum enhancement is 49 times in hydrotropy and 37 times in solid dispersion. The results of DSC, XRD and FTR shows potential of these methodologies for development of various doses with improved bioavailability. These are some of the references for this research work. Thank you.
Hello everyone, greetings of the day. My name is Yogesh Garg. My topic is development and optimization of donepezil hydrochloride loaded nanoparticles, brain delivery through nasal route. In this research work, we had prepared self-mucoadhesive nanoparticulate system for effective delivery of donepezil hydrochloride via olfactory region bypassing blood-brain barrier. Firstly, the HPLC method for the quantitative estimation of donepezil hydrochloride was developed and validated, which shows a retention time of 4.9 minutes. The FTIR spectrum of alone drug and drug-loaded nanoparticles were compared and no significant difference was found. Chitosan nanoparticles were prepared by ionic cross-linking method using central composite design, which suggested 20 runs. Cross-linker to polymer ratio, cross-linking time and cross-linking speed were taken as independent variables, and particle size, drug payload and percentage yield were taken as dependent variables. The formulation was optimized by numerical and graphical optimization. For validation of design, 5 random formulations were taken from numerical optimization and the results were compared. There is no significant difference between experimental values and the values given by design. The optimized formulation found particle size of 178 nanometer, zeta potential of 6 plus 16.6 millivolt, drug payload of 22.2%, percentage yield of more than 90%, sustained release of more than 90% in 24 hours, mucid acid strength of 9.26 gram, and ex vivo permeation of more than 70% in 24 hours, which were found to be satisfactory for intranasal delivery of drugs. Further, the in vivo study on Vistar rats showed threefold increase in the concentration of donepezil hydrochloride in rat brain, 4 nanoparticles administered via intranasal route when compared to drug solution given orally and intranasally. This was further confirmed by giving diluted nanoparticles to another group. The samples were analyzed under confocal laser scanning microscopy and significant amount of dye was present in rat brain. These results evident that the intranasal administration of drug-loaded nanoparticles can be a potential drug delivery system for neurological disorders.
I am presenting my e-poster on the topic Formulation and Evaluation of Herbal Tablets consisting Bauhinia variegata stem bark aqueous extract in streptozotocin-induced diabetic rats. Indigenous medicinal plants and their crude extracts have been widely used by people in management of diabetes. Bauhinia variegata Linn, commonly known as orchid tree, is a medium-sized tree of 10 to 15 meters. Its stem bark was collected, authenticated, standardized, and extracted with water. The extract was subjected to HPLC GCMS analysis, and crude extract was formulated into tablets using standard procedure. Evisil was used as binder, lactose as diluent, povidone and sodium starch glycolate as suspending agent, and magnesium stearate as lubricant. The prepared tablets passed the quality test of hardness, friability, disintegration, tablet diameter, and weight variation. ADMAT study, anti-diabetic screening, and docking studies were done. Docking study, HPLC, and GCMS analysis exhibited presence of camphorol, which docks with aldose reductase, lupiol with glycogen synthase kinase, and beta-cetosterol, which docks with dipeptidyl peptidase 4 in the extract. Experimental design consisted of 5 groups: 1. Normal control, 2. Diabetic control, 3. Standard, in which insulin was used, 4th group was aqueous extract of Bauhinia variegata, and 5th group was of tablets of Bauhinia variegata. In streptozotocin-induced diabetic rats, aqueous extract and its formulated tablets exhibited significant antidiabetic activity. Extract reduced the reading of diabetic rats from initial 300 mg per deciliter of blood glucose to 128 mg per deciliter in 4th week. Tablets reduced the reading from 303 mg per deciliter to 130 mg per deciliter in the 4th week, whereas insulin, which was used as standard, reduced the blood glucose levels from 278 mg per deciliter to 112 mg per deciliter in the 4th week. Extract and tablets also had protective effects on biochemical parameters of kidney and liver profile like creatinine, urea, liver glycogen, SGOT and SGPT. Levels of creatinine for insulin group were 1.1, for extract 1.4, and for tablets 1.2 mg per deciliter. Urea levels for insulin group was 45, for extract 49, and for tablet treated group 45 mg per deciliter respectively. SGOT and SGPT levels for insulin group were 57 and 55, for extract treated group 72 and 70, and for tablet treated group 55 and 58 mg per deciliter respectively. It can be concluded that the anti-diabetic activity may be due to the phytoconstituents which are present like camphorol, lupiol and beta-sitosterol. ADMAT study revealed the phytoconstituents past Lipinski's rule of 5 and can be developed as oral formulation for managing diabetes and its complications.